Do you ever get an opportunity to really get away from things and sort of decompress and just relax?
No. Recruiting, it goes all year, right? It never stops, and you always have to be available, whether it's a phone call or whatever. And so you're always kind of around, always kind of there. You know, your players' lives are always, it's not like, you know, during your vacation they stop living. I mean, that's actually a busy time because we get a lot of kids coming for summer bridge and freshman kids that start getting homesick and all this stuff. So you're always kind of around, but it's nice to go out and get a little break though.
What is this time of year like? I mean, you're just a little over a month away from the start of fall camp, and you're not allowed to have the practice time with the players. So from a coaching standpoint and a coordinator standpoint, what is this time like?
So for us, I mean, this will really be time off for us, and you know, I've already planned and promised to take my daughters to go with them when they go to young women's camp. And so this will be my first time. Then going to young men's. I'm in first council for my young men's presidency, so I'm going to young men's camp. So that'll be busy and fun for our players. And this is really probably the most intense part of the summer, and that's why a strength coach is so key. Nu'u and Justin, AJ, those guys have done a really good job. Our players' bodies are changing, but their commitment level to not only work out once, but work out a couple times a day, as well as take care of their schoolwork and some player run practices is huge. And you know, expect leadership to step up and really do a good job kind of taking over all those leadership positions. And I mean, like I said, we're not part of it, but this is the most intense part of the year for them before we get into fall camp.
Are you the sing around the campfire type guy on these young men and young women outings? Are you either eat the s'mores and sing the songs guy?
Not, you know, I don't really like s'mores. It's not, the stickiness after isn't worth it. Like, I mean, it's good, you know, but I'd rather just eat the graham cracker and then don't have to deal with all the stickiness and everything after. But a ukulele and kind of sitting around, just singing. I like that.
All right, so back to football. Now I'm wanting a s'more, by the way. So I've thrown myself into that part. Your biggest question, a little over a month away from fall camp, from the defensive side, is what right now?
Probably still the same question that I had in the spring, which is there's a lot of good players on the team, is their development and their readiness to compete. And so, you know, will the young players be ready? That's kind of the big question. And I think physically they're starting to really look the part. We gotta put the schemes together and make sure that they can play. And so the question right now is, will the young guys be ready to contribute? Because I think that's a question to be answered when to come in this first game.
Well, and depth. Coaches always want depth. I mean, that in a lot of respects is the lifeblood of the program in terms of how many guys do you have that can play if needed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We feel really comfortable about certain players in certain spots, but you're exactly right. Will the young guys be ready to play? Will we have contribution from certain players? I mean, and it always works. Every year that I've coached, there's guys that you're counting on that all of a sudden kind of fall through with injury or whatever it is, and then other guys that you're like, well, where did this guy come from? And those are the cool stories when you start to get kids kind of come out of nowhere and do a really good job with their development. So,
where do you think the talent level is on the defensive side coming into the year?
How do you gauge that? Like, in words, good or great, or you know what I mean? Or like,
really good?
Really, using the word?
Well, I mean, you obviously know the strengths of these players. You know that the type of teams that you're going to be facing. How talented do you think this defense is?
I think that that the game of football, no matter what scheme you run, always comes down to physicality. Mm-hmm. And I think that we have a chance to be physical. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any particular, I know, and you've talked about this before, the being able to own the line of scrimmage, you know, the front seven, getting that push is huge. Do you like where, and you coach the defensive line, there's been some changes at linebacker, so do you like the way that is progressing?
I do. I think that there's a lot of growth at the D-line spot. I think there's a lot of bodies, potential kids that can play for us. and there's a lot of youth at the backer spot. The first 3 backers that we've played with, you know, you hate to say that jobs are locked in, but there's a lot of experience there. We've moved Zane to where Fred left at the flash spot. We normally wouldn't move a starter unless he was going to start somewhere else, and so did the same exact thing with Tuiaki. Moved him from a starting DN spot to a starting backer spot. But those 2 with Butch are really good. I mean, they're good players, and you know, the amount of speed and physicality that we have on the field with Butch and Shone at the inside backer spots, and the amount of speed that we have with both Shone and Zane at the outside backer spots is going to be huge for us. So.
Well, and in the secondary too, there's changes there. I mean, you have some really good corners that you're gonna move to safety and allow some other players to get on the field. I mean, there's quite a few changes. But in talking with you and talking with some of the other coaches, it sounds like you guys really like the direction that the scheme is going.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's taken some time to kind of get to where we need to be. There were some kids earlier on, like Chris Wilcox, Travion Green, that we've kind of forced to play early, and we took our lumps with them, but it's paid a lot of dividends for them to get those reps and kind of take those lumps, because Chris Wilcox is really good. I think he's going to be a big-time player for us and have an opportunity to play at the next level. Long and fast, and just great personality, just good mental toughness. And so there's a lot of young kids that are coming in, and we're excited about some of the athletes that are coming in, joining us, and we've got our Summer Bridge kids just joining us today. And we've got 2 corners that are coming in that we think are going to potentially play for us this year.
How much preparation for Arizona have you personally done, or is it still about BYU, and we get closer, then you get more into that? Where's that process at?
You know, it's probably we wait to get a little bit closer before we just hone in completely. Obviously, we're interested in what they're doing with the new coaching staff, and you know, their offensive coordinator we've played before with myself with Kalani when we were still at Utah, and so there's a little familiarity there, but just kind of interested in the direction that they're going to take it, how different they're going to be from the previous one, and what their quarterback's going to do, because that guy's a really good player.
Coach A, appreciate the time. We'll let you go. And